So I just showed you some slow motion clips of me throwing a skip step axe kick, and I think we need to talk about why we even bother throwing a skip step axe kick. Understand that a skip axe kick is a way for you to position yourself for a strong front leg axe kick that moves forward. Now, I was just having a little debate with myself, like what is the value of throwing a skip step axe kick versus just throwing a hop axe kick? And I think when it comes down to it is when you're sparring with someone, if you see someone hop up and their leg is going really high, you can see it coming from a mile away. Oh, here comes some shot to my face. And that usually does not work. What does work about the skip axe kick is it gets you, first of all, it gets you closer to your opponent and allows for a very strong front leg axe kick, because in the moment that you do a skip step, your attacking foot now gets to the back position. And that allows you to shoot it up quickly and with a lot of power. The skip step also gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of how far you want to move with that skip axe kick. But when we start off learning this kick, I want to be very precise about the distance that we do. And I saw your videos, and our footwork is kind of everywhere. So the first thing that I see most people have is they're stepping halfway back. Remember, on a skip axe kick, we want to step half stance distance backwards before stepping full stance distance forwards, right? But notice that the distance between my back foot and my front foot is now a half stance distance. This is where some people kind of get off. They go step halfway back, but then they step 1.5 stance distances forward. This is an okay variation in the future, but right now when we're practicing to optimize your balance, we want to step half and forward. The next thing that I see, number 2, is that they're stepping too far back and far forward. So it's almost like you're just throwing a switch back leg axe kick. The problem is if you're going to throw a back leg axe kick, you might as well just throw it right off the bat, but that has its own uses. So when we're just talking about the skip step axe kick, what we want to do is have consistent footwork up, so that we can throw our skip axe kick with the same distance every time. And depending on the situation, you can adjust that second step. The second reason why I really like the skip axe kick is, personally, I've had a lot more success in competition with it. And I think the reason why is because it comes at an off-rhythm timing. Rather than just hopping up and throwing the skip axe kick, or the hop axe kick, a skip axe kick, you stay low, bop, and you're adjusting your feet, bop. Here, this motion could look like, oh, here comes a roundhouse kick. But instead of a roundhouse kick, where we're expecting something to the body, etc., or like maybe spin after that, what happens is it just comes straight up down the middle. That axe kick almost comes out of nowhere at a weird timing. It was showed to me by Master Han Cho, Grandmaster Han Cho, and it's called the number 11. And the number 11, which is a skip axe kick, had just had so much success across the board. And that's why I want that to be our focus, because it works best in competition. That's what our focus is. So let's break this down again. I step half a step back, a full step forward. There's a half stance distance between here. And then I bring my knee up and down. The second portion where everyone's kind of having trouble is on this knee rise. This knee comes up and then you extend on the way down. Right as this knee gets to the highest point, I extend and then I pull. What I'm seeing is as the knee is coming up, people are extending. The problem is if I'm trying to hit Bob here, if I bring my knee up and my foot's extending, I'm going to hit the body first, and I will, usually the person's arms are here. And if the leg extends too early, they'll just stop the axe kick before it gets there. So the first thing you have to do is get the knee up and then come over the hand and down into the face. That is a proper axe kick. If you throw the axe kick with the leg extended before you even come up, it won't even get there. It'll be blocked. You'll get discouraged. You'll be like, axe kicks don't work in real life. Axe kicks totally work in real life, especially in competition. So we're here, make sure this knee comes up, and then extend at the top high point and slam down. If you're extending too early, it's not going to work. Let's talk a little bit about the actual placement of your feet. So I step this foot back and I step forward. Note, look at my hips. Look, my hips are first starting this way. I step back, I step forward, my hips are still facing this way, but what doesn't happen in this, I see this happen when you step too far. When you step too far forward, now my hip position has switched to that side. We want to keep our hips facing this way. Bam, bam. Skip. And you'll notice when you do this, when your leg comes straight up, when your hips are still facing that way, and you lift your leg up, it's going to be a lot easier. I notice some of you guys are having a lot of trouble. You're going boom, boom, you're overstepping, then you're going, wow, you're extending your leg too early. The whole kick is slow, it feels awkward. I see a look in your face like, this doesn't really feel right. So what the adjustment you need to make is skip. Look, this second foot placement is facing outside. This allows my hips to still stay facing this way. If I place my foot here, where my toes are facing forward, or even to the other side, now my hips are facing the other way. And now I have to come, and at best my kick is going to come the outside in crescent axe kick. I don't like that. Straight up and down axe kick is the most dangerous because it comes up, you can't block it if your hands are here on the outside. If you have to have your hands right there or stop it when it's coming up. So again, skip, foot points that way. Hips are still facing this way. Drive the knee up, down. And remember when we drive this knee up, we wanted it to come up to our shoulder. Bum, bum, bum. Okay? And final point, the rhythm. I think I've talked a lot about the da-da rhythm on the skip. I think for now, just focus. We'll get back to that another day. But just focus on step, step. Full half step dance distance here. My foot's facing that way. My hips are still facing this way so that I can lift and come straight up and straight down. Okay, so with that, let's go into the actual videos that you guys submitted and we'll break it down and I'll just point out a few things. But yeah.
So this is the axe kick that I like best. The extension comes right at the top, pulling through and landing forward. Great job. And then the other ones, I think you're overstepping. So your left leg, you're extending your leg a little early. Your right leg looks a little bit more clean. So we got to work on our left side axe kick. For example, on your left side axe kick, you're overstepping with your right foot here, this foot, and you're extending this leg a little early. So that's something we want to work on. Okay, so definitely overstepping and extending this leg a little early. All right, so the most common mistakes we have so far is half step good. You're probably stepping 1.5 stances too early. This leg is coming up. Remember, we want to get our knee to the highest point before we pull it back, before we extend the kick. But given how much you've been training this Jinhu, it looks really good. All right. So we were talking about this earlier, Jisoo. So you're switching your feet all the way back and then all the way forward. So you're just basically doing like a switch back leg axe kick. Remember, we want to step halfway back, then a full step forward. We want to, that kicking leg, we want to land forward. We want our momentum to keep traveling forward. So here's our feet. Yeah, so we're overstepping back, we're hopping, and we're overreaching forward, so it's going to feel a little wonky, right? Like your hip isn't fully forward. You might be pulling it back a little bit too far. We want that pullback we want to land forward on our skip X. See the other side. Definitely stepping far too back, too far forward. But I do like that you're turning this foot in this direction. It's allowing your hip to stay there, so it feels comfortable. Remember, we want to land forward. You probably don't need to pull back too far back. And I think if you just step less far forward, you'll feel a lot more balance with this kick, Jisoo. So we'll work on that. Nice work. All right, right off the bat, John, you're extending your kick a little early. I know you're more flexible than that, so we want to shoot this knee up as high as we can. Let's see, right here. Pause, halfway, good. That's a good step distance. But you see, I see that you're hopping, right? So I pause it, your body is going up already. which means that when your foot lands and hits the ground, your body's going to be going down. It's going to be traveling down. But at the same time, you have to get that knee to come up. So if you're going to jump up when you go your first half step back. So over here, let's get you here, play. That's a little better. Bam. Left leg. Okay. See one more. So you're kind of hopping up on that second step. Ah, yes. Okay, good. And you see how, okay, so I noticed this is for less flexible people. But right here, this is a good example. When you extend your axe kick at the highest point of the knee, if you're not flexible, what ends up happening is this foot here extends out. So it ends up pushing forward, which is not necessarily an axe kick where it comes straight up and then down, but it does make for a really, especially if the person is coming inside, it makes for a really potentially strong front leg axe kick knockout. Bam. Yeah. All right, nice. Let's see the other side. Right leg, skip axe. Good. So we definitely want to work on our hamstring flexibility, Jono. You're young, so stretching now is going to really help you as you get older. So your knee's coming up really high, which is good. But we also want to work on developing our hamstring flexibility so that when we do extend, we can extend straight up versus straight forward. Right, so this knee's coming up. It's good. It's close to the shoulder. But I think you can extend this hamstring a little bit more. And I'm not sure if that's your flexibility quite now, but we'll work on that. All right. Let's see the last one.